Thank you. A few months ago on a Friday afternoon, I contacted the community college to get information about one of their programs. I got this somewhat surprising voicemail message from the college. It said, in an effort to reduce our carbon footprint, we will be closed on Fridays until July 31st. I didn't think much about it, went about my business, but later on I got more intrigued about this carbon footprint business. I'd heard about carbon footprint, but I didn't know exactly what it was. I knew scientists and environmentalists weren't too happy about it. I still didn't know what it was. I wanted to know why they were unhappy and why it was a bad thing. It led to me doing some research on the topic. I found a simplistic definition for carbon footprint. It goes something like this: the amount of carbon dioxide contributed to the environment by a person's actions in a given time frame. Let me say that for you again. The amount of carbon dioxide contributed to the environment by a person's actions during a given time frame. Now, if you're like me, after I heard that, I said, what? I still didn't know what it was. I wanted to know, importantly, how I created mine and what mine was. So it led to more investigation on my part. Now, when I first talked about this carbon footprint thing, because I'm not a scientist, I wanted to know from a technical, scientific viewpoint what exactly it was. But as I got more into it and researched it more, I became more intrigued about how it relates to each of us in our lives and what we leave behind, not just scientifically, but relationally as well. So I went even further in my investigation. I came up with a definition that you can use if you want to describe it to kids, that they can understand. It goes like this: a carbon footprint can be compared to footprints in the sand. Like you walk across the sand and leave a footprint in the sand, your actions leave a visible imprint upon the earth. I focused on that last part in particular. Your actions leave an invisible footprint upon the earth. Sounded to me like your legacy. In the dictionary, legacy is defined as a record or account of what someone achieves during their life or their career. You see, both of those subjects deal with what you do during your life and the effect after you're no longer here. So I thought about it from that perspective of relationship, because I'm not a scientist. But I was curious about this carbon footprint thing. So curious that I did further investigation. I tried to relate it to what we do in a daily life and what happens after we're no longer around. Now, a carbon footprint can be viewed as a good thing or a bad thing. A legacy can be viewed as a good thing or a bad thing based upon the actions you do during your lifetime. Based upon what you do during your lifetime, it can be considered positive or negative in the effect you leave on people. Think about that. In history, there have been several people who have tried to do the right thing in life. Also, some of them have not done anything positive before their deaths. I won't mention any names here, but you get my drift. Attila the Hun, other people like that. Nobody can say they did some really good things during their lifetime. But when you talk about a carbon footprint and how it affects us, it's a bad thing for this reason. Carbon dioxide in the environment creates issues that we can't begin to measure. You can affect or reduce the amount of your carbon footprint negativity by doing certain things. So I researched this. For example, how you travel, whether it's by motorized vehicle or not, how often you travel, what you eat, what you buy, what you throw away, what you keep, all affect your carbon footprint. They all influence how you impact the earth through your activities while you're living. Just like a legacy. This is why I'm trying to tie the analogy to the two. In history, there are people who have started out in the wrong path, and for some reason, they got turned around and became better. During their lifetime, something or someone impacted them to make them go in the right direction. I think in my own life, for example, sometimes people I've sent to prison or jail see me out somewhere. You never know what they're going to say to you when they see you. They come up and say, Judge Jackson, thank you for sending me to prison or jail, because it turned me around, gave me a chance to get clear of drugs, think about what I was doing, go in the right direction. So one time in particular, a couple of months ago, I was at a gas station. I'm out pumping my gas, minding my own business. On the other side of the gas pump, there's this other guy. He's pumping his gas. He's not minding his own business. He says, "Hi, Judge Jackson, I'm Mr. Jones. You remember me?" I look at him and honestly I say, "No, I don't." He looked vaguely familiar though. He says, "About 10 years ago, I was in front of you. I committed an armed robbery, and you sentenced me to prison." Now, about this time, I'm saying, "Oh, man, here we go." You never know how people are going to react when they see you out in public. Yet they always feel they have to need to talk to you, tell you what they're going through, express if they've seen you or not. I says, "Okay, here we go." He continued, though. He says, "While I was in prison, I had a chance to think about a lot of things. I thought a lot about my family and friends that I missed. I thought a lot about the wrongs that I had done. And I thought a lot about how I wish I could change what I had done to end up in front of you." What he said next really shocked me, really surprised me. He said, "The thing I thought about most, though, was your words to me at the time you sentenced me." He said, "At the time you sentenced me, you told me you committed a crime, you have to pay the price. You told me that you thought I had the potential to succeed, and you hoped that I did succeed. You told me what I did with my life after I got out of prison was entirely up to me." And then he said, "So I want to thank you for what you did for me. You didn't give me the maximum time you could have, but what you did give me was hope that my life was not over and I could be a better person." Wow. Could have knocked me over with a feather. Here's this individual who tells me some 10 years later the impact that my actions had on him. Oh, he also told me I'm a pastor now. I work with troubled youth. I try to keep them on the right path, moving in the right direction, try to work with families so they continue to do the right things. And I said, "Oh my gosh, you realize if he continues to do the things he's doing, he, and through him, I, will have a positive impact, a footprint, if you will, upon everyone he comes into contact with." You see, that's what it's all about. It's not just about the carbon footprint being a bad thing, but it's your legacy being a good thing. How you impact others, how you make a difference in their lives, what happens after you're gone, but your actions before you created certain things that go on past your lifetime. So how do you create this positive impact? Through our actions, each of us get our chance to create our own legacy. Each of us get our own chance to define our own legacy, to make it valuable, beneficial to others after we're gone. Each of us get our own chance to refine our legacy, to make it be the best it could possibly be after we're gone. So how do you do that? What steps must you take to ensure that your legacy is going to be a positive one? Well, first, you have to value yourself. Believe there's value in you as a human being, because through that, then you can believe there's value in others. You can work with others to do the right thing and get some positive things accomplished. So how do you do that? First, you must get to know yourself as best you can. You have to learn your likes and dislikes. Learn your strengths and weaknesses. Learn the things that inspire you and the things that hold you back. Because once you learn what you're about, then you can have other people be what they're about. I'm not saying you need to talk to yourself, and I don't know what the position of psychiatrist and psychologist is on talking to yourself, but I am saying you need to get to know yourself better. I'm reminded of this one comic strip I saw one time, and in the comic strip, the main character was talking to himself. And his wife walks into the room and says, "Why are you talking to yourself?" His response was, "I figured I'd talk to the person who knows me the best." You see, you need to know yourself better than anybody else knows you. Once you know what you're about, you can help others become what they need to become. That's part of your legacy. Just like a carbon footprint, the things you do affect that carbon footprint. The things you do in relation to others affect your legacy, what you're about, what you're remembered for. You know, some people might also say, what is all this talk about legacy? Why are you trying to do something that you can be remembered by? Can't you be good to others without trying to be recognized for it after you're gone? And the answer is yes. You can do that. It's not about being recognized for what you've done. We all can be that, and we all should be that, good to other people as we go through life. But it's not about being recognized. If you think the significance of your legacy or your actions is your legacy, you misunderstood what I'm trying to tell you. The real significance of your being good and caring towards others has little, if anything, to do with your legacy. I'll say that for you again. The real significance of your being good and caring towards others have little, if anything, to do with your legacy. What you should be focused on is your impact upon others, how you changed their life, how you changed their course of direction, how because if you hadn't been there, they'd have been somewhere else. You see, that's your carbon footprint as it relates to people. Just like we have things that we release in the atmosphere because of the activities we do, the carbon dioxide, your actions also release something into the air. Everyone you come into contact with. So there's a footprint that you've caused carbon dioxide. There's also a footprint of your actions, what you've given to people, what your impact is. See, I, for one, want my children and grandchildren to be appreciative and grateful for the things I've done that give a positive and lasting impact in their lives. Just like I'm grateful for my grandparents, my parents who came before them, who paved the way for me, made sacrifices so that my life is better than it would have been had they not done what they did. So that's what you want to look at. Carbon footprints, legacy. They're intertwined because they're all based upon actions you do while you're living that has a lasting impact after you're gone. Don't misunderstand that. Legacy and carbon footprint. One is scientific, one is relational, they both are lasting. And once you understand that process and how important you are in your daily activities, not from a scientific standpoint alone, but from a relational standpoint as well, you leave the world in a better position. Because if you understand carbon dioxide can be reduced by certain things you do or don't do, the relationships you're involved in can become better because of what you do or what you don't do. Carbon footprint, technological term, use it as a relational thing to deal with your legacy. Here's an idea I want to leave you with. Regardless of your race, age, gender, religion, or economic status, make no mistake about this. Whether you want to or not, we all will leave a carbon footprint upon the earth. Whether you want to or not, we all will leave a legacy as well. Thank you.